All right, now let's get into it. Today, I'm gonna teach y'all how I make my white chicken chili. And I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I did not like red chili. When I was in culinary school, this was probably, well, not culinary school, when I was in home ec, in like middle school, we had a day where we made white chicken chili, and then I became obsessed with it, and I've been making it ever since. So let me show y'all how I make it and how it's kind of changed over the years. So what I have here is 4 ounces of shredded pepper jack and 4 ounces of Monterey cheese. I have a block of cream cheese. You're going to need a sweet onion, 4 ounces of a chicken broth, 1 can of Great Northern beans, 1 can of white corn. You can use yellow corn, it's totally fine. 1 can of cannellini white kidney beans, 1 4-ounce can of diced green chilies. You're going to need ground cumin, ground coriander, chili powder, smoked paprika, coarse kosher salt, black peppercorn, cilantro. I have 1 serrano pepper here, some garlic. I have a little over a pound, about 1.5 pounds of some boneless, skinless chicken thighs. So these are all of the ingredients. You see that? You see that? You see that? Don't ask me for the damn ingredient list. Come on, child.
Whipping up all of your favorite recipes.
Simply Food.
You should know by now that you're in for a treat.
Simply Food.
There's no other channel where you'd rather be.
Simply Food.
Seafood, pasta, cakes, and pies. Sing and laugh and even cry. Like and share and hit subscribe. Simply Food by TY.
Alrighty, so before we get too far into the video, I want to go on ahead and get some of my seasonings on my chicken so I can let it marinate while I'm prepping the veggies. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of neutral oil. This is avocado oil. And for this amount of chicken, I've gone in and I've added in 1/4 of a teaspoon of ground cumin. We're going to do 1/8 of a teaspoon of the ground coriander, 1/2 tablespoon of chili powder. And yes, although this is a white chicken chili, I will still be adding in some smoked paprika. So not only will it add just a little bit of color to it, but also a great depth of flavor. I'm going to add in 1/4 of a teaspoon of the smoked paprika. And just because it's white, honey, don't mean it's going to be bland. Oop. We're going to add in 1/2 tablespoon of the coarse kosher salt and some black peppercorn to taste, of course. Massage all of this together really nicely. That is what it should look like after all of the seasonings are on it. Go on ahead and place the lid on it, and you can sit that to the side until it's time to cook it off. And y'all know it wouldn't be me if I didn't forget to include an ingredient in the damn list, honey. That's why y'all keep asking me for the ingredients. So you're also going to need an onion. I don't know if I said that, and you're also going to need some half and half. Now, I'm making a small batch, so I'm likely only going to use half of this onion because this onion is gigantic, and I don't want it to be too much onion. But you want to break this down into a small mince. You do not want gigantic chunks. Even if you are a huge onion lover, don't put no giant chunks of onion or really any of this into your white chicken chili. How many of y'all have ever had white chicken chili? And if you haven't, are you going to try it? And if you have had it, did you like it? I'm very curious to see what you think. Tell me down in the comment section. Break this down into a small mince. I'm also now going to go on ahead and chop up my serrano. I'm going to leave the seeds in. You can take it out if you want. It's completely up to you. But I'm going to break these down into a small mince. This is optional, of course, but I like the additional flavor, so that's why I decided to add it in mine. You can also do jalapeno if you want. And then, of course, you want to also mince down your garlic. And as I always say, we're going to put our garlic on a little separate side plate because we're not going to cook this off in its initial stage so that it does not burn. But you want to break that down to a mince. This is roughly going to come out to about a tablespoon worth of minced garlic. And that's all the vegetable prepping that you really have to do. Like I said, this is probably about a cup or so of the minced onion. I have 1 serrano and then about a tablespoon of the minced garlic. Now that that's done, let's go on ahead and let's start to brown off that chicken so we can build some flavor into the pot. And although we did add some oil to the chicken, I'm going to go in with just a tiny bit of the avocado oil in the bottom of our Dutch oven here. And then we can go on ahead and start to lay down those beautiful pieces of chicken and allow those to fully cook off. This is not a partial cook type of situation. We want to make sure that these fully cook. So just go on ahead and put those in there and let them kind of do their thing. And while your chicken is cooking, you can go on ahead and drain off the contents of the beans as well as the corn. You do not want to add the juice from that directly into your white chicken chili. So go on ahead and drain all of that off and just give it a light rinse under cold water. Not too much. That's enough. And then go on ahead and set that to the side until we're ready to make use of it. For the diced green chilies, you do not have to drain these off. And I like to leave the cream cheese sitting out so that it can just melt a lot easier when we get to adding it to the pot so that it will not take forever. Alrighty, my chicken's been cooking roughly about 3 minutes on one side, so I'm gonna go on ahead and flip this over. Once again, we are not doing partial cooking with this chicken. We are fully cooking this all the way off. So make sure that this chicken is done before you take it out of the pan itself. Look at that. Alrighty, you guys, our chicken is absolutely done at this point, so we can go on ahead and remove this out of the pan, and then we can go on ahead and shred that up and sit that directly to the side. There's the perfect amount of oil still in the pan, so I'm going to go ahead now and add in my onion and my serrano peppers. At this point, I have the heat on low. The water from the onions is going to start to loosen up some of that goodness at the bottom of the pot. I'm going to go ahead and now add in the full 4-ounce can of the diced green chilies, as well as the garlic, and give all of that a mix. And remember, the heat is still on low. And I told you, all that stuff at the bottom of the pan was going to come up. And that is all going to contribute to the overall flavor profile of this pot. All right, go on ahead and shred up your chicken because we're about to add that back to the pot in a few moments. And when you go to shred up this chicken, don't drop off those juices. You want to keep all of that. That's all some good flavor there. Go on ahead and chop up that chicken. We can now add in the beans and the corn. Give that a good mix. My God. Whew, boy, this chicken looks some kind of good. My God. And I like to leave it in pretty big chunks. You can now go on ahead and add in all of that delicious chicken, as well as the juice. We're going to give this one more mix before we add in the stock. You can now go on ahead and add in your 4 cups of the chicken stock. You can now also go on ahead and add in your block of your cream cheese. That's been sitting out for so long, it's nice and soft, that's going to melt down in no time. Bring the whole pot up to a simmer. And while I'm waiting for that cream cheese to fully melt, I decided that I wanted to go on ahead and add in 2 bay leaves. You know, bay leaf and chili, it's going to just add more flavor to it. I'm going to put the top back on this and allow that cream cheese to melt fully. I have my temperature only on a 2. I do not want this to be at a raging boil. And just to give you first glances, this is what we're looking like so far. My God. Jesus. Now that the cream cheese is melted, I'm going to go on ahead and add in the shredded cheese and give this a mix as well. And we now put no half and half in this. It's not needed. This is already creamy enough. And now that we've added in this cheese, you definitely want to make sure that you are keeping an eye on it to make sure that it does not stick to the bottom or burn. Again, my temperature is still only on about a 2 at this point. I'm now going to go in for an initial taste test just to see if I want to add in any additional spices and see if it needs any additional salt. So let's give it a taste and let's see. Okay. Baby. I don't think it needs any additional salt. I think I might add in maybe a pinch more of the chili powder. And just so that I make sure I'm giving y'all exact measurements, I'm going to put in an additional teaspoon of that chili powder and give this a mix. If you want it spicier, because to me this is not spicy at all. This is actually quite pleasant. Children would easily be able to eat this. If you want it spicier, I would definitely suggest you add in some cayenne. I think that for my own personal preference, I'm going to add in a little bit of cayenne pepper to this because I need it to have a little bit of kick. And I'm going to let you know exactly how much I added in a few moments. So I decided I wanted to add in 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. That's just how I like it. So I'm going to give this a mix and then we'll go in for one last taste test before we serve this up. Now, in regards to the cilantro, do not add that directly to the pot, just in case you're going to be serving it to people that might not like cilantro. It'll ruin the whole pot if you end up putting it in it. So I just like to add it directly to the serving bowl. Okay, let's give it another taste test now. Let's see what the balance is like. About to burn the living hell out of myself. That's white chicken chili. And that there, my friends, is how I make my white chicken chili. I hope y'all babies try this recipe because it is absolutely delicious, honey.
Playing in the kitchen.
Simply Food by TY.
We hope that you enjoyed it.
Simply Food by TY. If you haven't took the time, make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks